Hey y'all, hey, get ready with me to film my YouTube video intro for my new series, Dolls and Makeup. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm doing my eyebrows. And because this is an intro, I'm doing basic brows. So I'm going in with the Raw Essence Cosmetics brow lamination gel on a spoolie, and I'm going to brush my brows. So here I am molding my brows and brushing them up, and then brushing down the top so they look how I want them to look. Eyebrows on fleek. Y'all remember when we used to say that back in the day? Good times, good times. But yeah, I'm just brushing them, making sure they are to my liking. Here I am filling in my eyebrows with this Ruby Kisses eyebrow pencil in black brown. I never use a actual black pencil for my eyebrows because I have black eyebrow hair. So if I use an actual black pencil, it comes out looking like I drew my brows on with Sharpie. And I already have a big forehead, babes. I can't be walking around with Sharpie brows. No, 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 no. No, not around here, partner. Not around here. And here is the close-up of my brows. They came out cute. I like them. Now I'm going in with the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in the shade 18 to conceal my brows. And I am taking that concealer on a paintbrush. I recently started using a paintbrush to conceal my eyebrows, and I like that way more than using a brush. I feel like the paintbrush is super, super flat, so I can be super, super precise with concealing my eyebrows. So first I draw a line in the middle of my forehead, and then I come from the middle of where that line stops and go underneath my brow. I am so sorry that I am out of frame in so many clips. Still learning and trying to figure out how to like film me doing my makeup. And this is the shape that I end up with after concealing my brows. So now I am taking the Makeup Revolution Super Fix Misting Spray. It's the matte version. I am taking that on a beauty blender, and I am going to blend out my concealer, starting with the middle and then moving on to the top and bottom of my eyebrows. So for this video, I did my base first and then I do my eyeshadow last. So right here we have the Glamlight X Bratz blush palette. There are 3 creams and 3 powder eyeshadows, and it's shaped like a little purse, and it's so cute. It's got Chloe, Sasha, Jade, and Yasmin. There's some berry tones and then some pinks. The first shade that I choose to go into is After Hours. It's a really pretty like berry shade, very pretty. And then I mix Passion for Fashion and Bratz Pack to set it. And here I am taking off a little excess on the back of my hand. And then now I'm applying the blush and blending it out. I did something a little different with this blush placement. I also blended it on top of my eyelid as like a little mini base for the eyeshadow. And I also blended it above my eyebrow. And then here I am doing the blush on my nose and blending that out. And once again, I am slightly out of frame. So sorry. And then here I'm once again going in with the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in the shade 18. And I basically draw a line and then go down the side of my nose. And we do the same thing on the other side. I'm just thickening it up for this side right here. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then now I'm going to get into blending out my concealer. I am taking a Real Techniques concealer brush. And I am once again taking the Makeup Revolution setting spray to spray the brush so it is a little wet. And so that I will have a seamless blend between my concealer and my blush. And then this is how the blush placement and the concealer placement came out. I was eating love. And so now we are going in with Bratz Pack and Passion for Fashion in the powder blushes on a little tiny fluffy brush. And I am going on my cheek, up, and going on the side, like basically like kind of my temple. I'm doing a swooping motion back and forth for the blush. And then here I take a larger brush and I'm just blending it out even more to make sure it's precise and where I want it to be. Here I am taking the Juvia's Place I Am Magic setting powder in the shade Cotton Candy to set under my eyes. I take that on a triangle powder puff and I focus it primarily under my eyes, the sides of my nose, and the top of my nose. And then as you can see, I am also adding the powder where I put the blush on top of my eyebrow. Well, above my eyebrow, not on top of it. So, yeah. Baking time. And now we move in to eyeshadow. I will be using the Glamlight X Bratz collection eyeshadow palette, the Glamlight X Scooby-Doo eyeshadow palette, and the second Glamlight X Scooby-Doo eyeshadow palette. So first, I am taking the Glamlight X Scooby-Doo palette. I'm taking that like pinky purple all over my outer corner and through my crease. And I am taking that on a Blend Bunny eyeshadow brush. So taking it all on my inner corner and then all throughout the crease. Here's a better look where I was actually in frame. I'm just going in and building up the shadow in my crease and in my outer corner. Here I am going in with the Bratz X Glamlight palette and I am taking the shade Okay. And I'm going to put that in the inner corner of my eyelid. and I blended that only in my inner corner. Next, I am taking the shade, the light purple in the Glam Light X Scooby-Doo palette. It's the lightest purple in that palette. I tried my best to match the box as best I could. So here I'm taking that on a flat, rounded brush, and I'm putting that in the middle of my eyelid. Because basically what I did on the lid is a 3 eyeshadow blend ombre situation. And then now I'm back in frame. As you can see, I'm taking that, the lightest purple from the Glam Light X Scooby-Doo palette, and blending that on the middle of my lid. Now for my outer corner, I am taking from the Glam Light X Bratz collection, the dark purple shade Besties. And I'm focusing that only on my outer corner. I wanted the look to be semi-smoky, but not too smoky to the point where it was taking away from the other two purples. Next, we move into the shimmers that I'm going to be using. So I took shimmers from the Glam Light X Bratz palette, the both Scooby-Doo palettes. So firstly, I went in with the last shade in the first row called Shimmering. I also ended up using eventually Iconic as an eyebrow highlight and a nose highlight. And then also from the Bratz X Glam Light palette, I take Living It Up and Bratitude from the second tier of the palette. And then from the Glam Light X Scooby-Doo Creeps and Crawls palette, I end up taking, if I can get this open. Okay, I end up taking the last shade in this palette and then 2 of the darker shimmers for the outer corner. And then from the second Glam Light X Scooby-Doo palette, I took the lightest purple shade from there and I put that on the lid, and I put the darkest shimmers on my outer corner, and then the lightest shade from the Bratz X Glam Light collection in terms of the purple shades, I took Shimmering and put that in my inner corner for that light purple. And then here, I think I'm putting on mascara. Yep, I'm putting on mascara. I need to buy a new one. It's time. And it doesn't end up showing on camera, but I do end up putting black in my waterline. And I also tight lined for the first time with a black gel eyeliner pencil. Real tea. So cute. It was perfect for this look. And then here I am taking the benye colorless setting powder just to brighten up that under eye and that blush. For my eyeliner, I am taking the One Size liquid eyeliner in the shade Black Bodacious. It is the perfect black eyeliner. It is so black. And I've had trouble finding a perfect black eyeliner. So here I have my lashes on. They were giving me a problem. I am taking a Q-Best Q-Best lip pencil here. And it's like a mauve purple, mauve plummy purple. It's a very like muted purple, and I'm taking that and I am lining my lips. I start with the bottom lip and I connect the corners of my mouth in the middle for the bottom lip, and then for the top I do a complete circle and I overline just a tad. And then this is how the lip liner ended up turning out. So then I took a NYX lip liner. This is a pink lip liner because the lipstick that I'm using, it has like a pink to it. So I put the pink in the middle of the purple. So that way it was kind of like a blend. And then that's how the lip liner turned out. Off camera, I used the Cyberspace Sparkle, her silver glitter spray, and I sprayed that all over myself. And I also used the One Size powder melt spray and the One Size glitter setting spray. Their collab with Wicked the musical. Now for cheek highlight, I am taking the Blend Bunny X Jordan Liberty Pro Luster palette. So I took the shade Heartbreaker and Catalyst, and I put that on my nose. I put that over my blush, and it was just the perfect purple highlight. Love. So glad I bought this. And here, this is where I go in with the Bratz X Glam Light, the lightest shade in the first tier, the shade Iconic, and I use that as a brow highlight. This is the first time that I've ever done a brow highlight, and I thought it came out so cute. I thought it was so perfect because the Bratz always have full glam makeup, a brow highlight, and a cute lip. So you know I had to do them to him. You know, I had to do my thing. And then here I am taking that same eyeshadow and putting it on my nose, my cupid's bow, and I think I even put a little bit on my cheeks. And then here I am going in with the lipstick. This lipstick is from, it's called Shany lipstick. I will try to find the company and tag them in the caption. Everything that I used will be in the caption, and everybody will be tagged as well. And then this is how the lip first looked. And then now I am taking the KimChi Beauty Sweet Candy Kisses in the shade Cotton Candy. And I put that all over the lip, and then I blended it, and I got the perfect lip for this look. It came out so beautiful, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And then now I go back into the Blend Bunny X Jordan Liberty Pro Luster palette, and I put a little bit of both of the previous shades over my lips. So this is the final look. I went back in with a little bit more lip liner because I felt like it kind of disappeared. And then this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned and go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Love y'all. Bye.